Can Mitchell Robinson have a breakout season this year? Let's get into this. The New York Knicks are fresh off a very successful season for them, and now all the young players they had, you would expect going into next season, would all improve. But in this video, I want to specify and specifically look at one player, and that's Mitchell Robinson. In Mitchell Robinson's rookie season, he was actually drafted in the second round, and from very early on, we were able to tell that the Knicks got an absolute steal, and maybe the steal of the draft in that year's draft for Mitchell Robinson. In Mitch's rookie season, he completely wowed us with his great athleticism, great length, as well as just a great ability to play defense and just guard a ton of positions. He was very quick on his feet, and he was able to guard people on the perimeter and also driving all the way to the basket. His best ability was to come from that weak side and get weak side blocks, but also he had a great ability to block three-point shots. A lot of times when you see a player jump at a three-point shooter, most of the time they actually foul them and they do more harm than good. But for Mitchell Robinson, whenever you saw him jump at a three-point shooter, you almost expected at times for him to block that three-point shot. He just had that great ability to time it, as well as that great length that he had, and also he's at 7-foot size with that athleticism. He was just great all around to get those three-point block shots, which is great to see, and a great ability as well. But Mitch was also very good defensively on other ends. He would be able to guard quicker guys than him on the perimeter, and they would try to blow by him, and you would get those blocks from behind. He was very effective at doing that as well, and he was also great at meeting guys at the rim. He was just a block shot. He was just amazing at blocking shots overall, I should say. He averaged 3 block shots in his rookie season, and based on the minutes he was playing, that was absolutely exceptional, and he was getting one of the best block shot rate in a long time. Also on the offensive end, Mitch was a little limited, but what he did very effectively was that pick and roll lob offense. He had some point guards on his team that were able to get it to him pretty easily, but he was a pretty easy target. He has great range when you throw up that lob to him, and he has pretty good hands as well. So even if you're throwing him a pretty bad pass, he's more likely than not going to get that ball and stuff it in for an easy dunk, or sometimes even a difficult dunk. He was very effective at that on the offensive end, which was good. Also in terms of his rebounding ability, he was pretty good at offensive rebounds, but for whatever reason he wasn't great at defensive rebounds. Well, not for whatever reason, it was more so due to the fact that he didn't have a ton of strength on that end, and a lot of centers were able to bully him around, and that was a little issue, not only in terms of rebounding, but in terms of a few other things that I'll mention later in the video. But overall, there were some games where it completely got pissed off or whatever, and then he really showed the ability to rebound totally as a whole on the defensive end as well as the offensive end. But if you had to pick out some deficiency of his, it would definitely be his strength. Overall, I really like the defense that Mitch is able to play, and I think it fits with the new NBA and the new style where you do have to guard players on the perimeter at times, and Mitch does do that very effectively for his size and position. But one part of the defensive aspect that he definitely struggles with a ton is guarding opposing centers that do a lot of their work in the post, and just overall stronger centers than him, which is basically every center in the NBA. But when I'm talking about stronger, I'm talking about like the strongest centers in the NBA. And a specific memory that comes to my mind is Andre Drummond. Whenever Mitchell Robinson would play Andre Drummond, he was basically unplayable. Andre Drummond would do so much great work. He would just post him up and be way stronger than him, and Mitch would really have no shot, so Mitch would just foul him in the post, and Andre Drummond would get a ton of and ones off that, as well as on the glass he would get a ton of offensive rebounds, just pushing him wherever he wants to. So that was definitely something that Mitchell Robinson really had to work at throughout his whole NBA career, and that's definitely his strength and conditioning. Of course, you would also like to see an improvement on the offensive end of his game, and we've definitely seen a lot of workout footage of him shooting threes, dribbling, and doing everything on the court pretty efficiently. But the issue with that is a lot of players can do these things in workouts and tryouts whenever they're working out by themselves, or even in shoot-around pregame. But when it comes into the game, it's a completely different ballpark. We've seen the same workout footage from guys like JaVale McGee, Ben Simmons, Dwight Howard, just draining threes in practice. But in the NBA, they obviously don't shoot like that, or shoot at all in Ben Simmons' case. So to me personally, that doesn't necessarily mean that much. To me, I would like to see that in the game. Now, I don't necessarily want to see Mitchell Robinson shooting threes, at least right away, but I would like to see him at least take a mid-range shot. There's so many opportunities out there where he's wide open from that mid-range spot, but he just refuses to take it and just wants to pass the ball right away. But if he has that little mid-range game in his game, that would just open up his game so significantly and help out his teammates as well, just getting a lot more opportunities for everybody. But why do I think Mitchell Robinson has the potential to break out this season? So you know how before in the video I was mentioning how Mitchell Robinson's biggest weakness was his strength and just the inability to guard bigger and better defenders in the paint? Well, now there's been photos going around of Mitchell Robinson after he's been working out a ton, and this guy is so much bigger than he was in the past. He's up to 275 pounds now, and you could just see how much stronger this guy has gotten over this offseason. He actually recently got hurt in this previous season, a little bit of an ankle injury, or actually it was a foot injury, but he used that time, instead of just trying to recover, he used that time to actually work on himself and really work out a ton and really build up that muscle. And I think in the long run it's going to help him out tremendously. And now with that strength, if he's able to really defend bigger guys in the post more effectively and not just get pushed around like he did in the past in the post, as well as still have that athleticism to guard guys on the perimeter, and when they drive to the basket and try to drive by him, he's able to get those weak side blocks and still get those blocks and 3-point shots, as well as be very effective in the pick and lob offense, and maybe even add that mid-range game to his game. I think Mitchell Robinson could be so effective in the league, and I think that's why he could have a breakout season if he's able to do all those things well. And if he is able to do a lot of those things well, the sky is really the limit with this guy. I think this guy has so much potential going forward, and he's still so young too, which is great. But we'll see what happens going forward, and I think this season is really a big season because there also were some trade rumors around his name, not necessarily because he wasn't playing well, but more so due to the fact that the Knicks were trying to upgrade at that position, or maybe try to get a superstar to come there, and it would require to trade Mitchell Robinson. So this is a big season for Mitch. If he continues to play with the Knicks this season, he really has to take that next step, and hopefully for his sake and for the New York Knicks' sake, Mitchell Robinson is able to take that next step. But either way, I think Mitch is at a pretty good spot at this point, what he's able to do. The only thing that he does struggle with is those injuries. He did get injured a few times, so hopefully he can just stay healthy and stay on the court. And I think either if he continues to play like he was, or he actually exceeds expectations and plays a lot better this season, I think he's definitely a really nice young player, and the Knicks are definitely happy to have him on the roster. But anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think Mitchell Robinson has the potential to break out next season, or do you think Mitchell Robinson is basically going to be the same and is really not going to break out this season? But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did enjoy, please leave a like and subscribe and hit that post notification bell. It really helps me out a lot. Until the next time, peace out, guys.